I'd also like to thank Leo for choosing me as his best man. It's quite an honor. Now, when I first sat down and started thinking about what to talk about in this speech, I was sort of overwhelmed because, I grew up right down the road from Leo, and I'm just 1 year older, so we've had a ton of memories together. And I guess with Leo, the best way to describe him is he's always been a talker, and he's always had stories. The stories that he said, they've not always been true, but he's always had a story. And by the end of that story, you're either laughing at him or laughing with him. So I figured, what better way to give a speech than to give a little story about Leo. It took place when we were about 15 or 16, and this particular summer night, we decided to go camping, about 4 or 5 of us. And as we're out there around the fire, we noticed a car parked on the county road about 300 yards away. Not thinking much of it. We continue about our business around the fire. Then half an hour later, we see a guy come up on the fire. And instantly, chickens we were at 15 or 16, we start running the opposite direction. And as we're running, Leo, he falls behind the pack, and he yells out, "I'm the slowest one here, so if this guy catches me and I don't make it through the night, tell my mom I love her." I don't know, that was probably one of the funniest lines that kid's ever said. He said some funny lines. But luckily the guy that was walking up on our campfire was only my dad, so we had nothing to worry about. Got a good story out of it though. It never gets old. But there's a couple things we can take from that story. First off, Leo, he's not very fast. Second off, he really loves his mommy. And the third thing being, Leo, he's never been shy about expressing his feelings towards someone that he cares about. And I guess if you're friends with him on Facebook, you sort of know what I'm talking about. And that's one of the main reasons why we're here tonight, because, Stephanie saw that in it. Now, the first night that I met Stephanie and Adriana, it was a little over 2 years ago. And I guess he had known her for probably 2 weeks, maybe a little more, I don't know. But the way he was interacting with Adriana, it seemed like he had known her since the day she was born. And I truly think that's what Stephanie first fell in love with. She fell in love with a guy that truly cared about her daughter and wanted to be around her. And after that, everything just fell into place. Since these two have been together the last couple of years, I really haven't seen Leo that much, maybe once, twice a month. But when I'd see him and talk to him, he seemed like a different Leo. He seemed like he'd really grown up and really matured. And I got to thinking, it's like, man, this kid, he's really got it together. He's really grown up. And then that was until 2 months ago when we were at the 4th of July parade. We're sitting there watching the parade, and Ronald McDonald runs by. And what's Leo do? He runs out there and slaps him a high five. At that point, I just shook my head and said, nah, this kid's never going to grow up. With that being said, I'd like to make a toast to Leo and Stephanie.